Sports Close-Up. Today's show, Meadville High School baseball on their record-breaking season of 2018. Now I'll go to Jim Berger.
Thank you, Mike. As Mike said, a record-breaking season for the Meadville Bulldogs this year, reaching the Final Four in the state, the farthest this Bulldogs team has ever gone. We're joined today by members of the team and the coaching staff. First, we're going to talk to the coaching staff. Coach Stewart, would you like to introduce your assistants?
Yeah, it's pitching coach Justin Ferguson and assistant coach Dana Sheppelman.
Justin, Dana, thanks for being here today.
Yep.
I guess, Coach, first off, how did it feel, guiding this team to the most successful season in team history?
It was an exciting ride. It felt great. It felt great more for the kids, not necessarily. I mean, coaches were here every day, but for this group, it's been a long time coming. We've been with them for years and years, whether it be Little League, Junior League, Senior League, etc. It just felt good to be able to. Sometimes you shoot for stuff and then, something happens and you fall a little bit short. But I think, our goal, was to go as far as we could. And obviously we pushed it right to the limits. And, I really think could have played yesterday, but, a couple things just didn't fall our way that last game.
Well, it was an incredible run. And we talked a little bit off air. This was a tough season as well for you and the assistants because with the weather, not only did you not know when you're getting outside the practice, you said you had 12 or 13 games canceled. Was it tough getting into that groove at the beginning of the year, or was this team, mentally tough enough to kind of say, hey, whatever, let's go out and play when we have to play?
Yeah, it was definitely tough. I think we played probably 6-7 games before we even practiced outside for the first time. So, but it helped this year knowing that we had 9 seniors. Had this been a younger team, maybe it would have been a little bit of a different outcome, as the season went on. But I relied heavily on that senior group, and I think it really, that really made the difference for us. Knowing, every time we showed up, we went weeks without playing and being stuck in the building, and everybody, is tired of everybody after you've been in that building for 2 or 3 months. So they were just ready to get outside, but they did a tremendous job of being able to, to focus when we did get outside and be able to make plays until we were able to practice consistently.
Well, introduced your assistant coaches. How have they helped out this year? What are some of their roles? And, guys, how did it feel for you guys to go to the Final Four?
Bittersweet. Seeing Ringgold win, that's, knowing how close we really were, that makes it a little tougher. But it was a great ride, good run. Boys played good.
Yeah, our pitching, I deal mainly with the pitching staff, and our pitching staff did tremendous this year. We've been working together usually since November, and the kids put in a lot of work, and I think that really paid off. We had pretty good pitching in just about every game we played this year.
You guys talked about the senior leadership, very veteran team. Was there a time this season where you looked at it and said, hey, this could be a really good team? Was there a specific practice, or was there an incident in the game, or did you just kind of have the momentum build up throughout the year?
Early on it was tough to build any momentum because of just the inconsistency of what was going on. But I really thought after we beat Slippery Rock, that was kind of maybe like the point for me anyway, that kind of jump-started. We had won some games before that, but knowing we were going to face them, and they'd kind of been a nemesis, for us, and they had won districts back-to-back, that, even though they were a little bit younger, they still had, senior pitchers. And I thought, if we could get through there, and the guys could start to believe themselves that, we could beat, frontline top pitchers consistently. And I thought that was the one really to me that kind of, tipped us off and got us going this year. But.
Any specific moments for you guys?
I think it was more cumulative for me, because you could see the growth of the team, as we got, like we've stated, it took a while to get some of those games in, but once we got rolling, it seemed like somebody different was stepping up every day, whether it was a pitcher, whether it was somebody hitting the ball when we needed them to. And I think that's always a good indicator of a solid team, when you have so much depth that anybody on any given day can be the hero.
Right. Yeah, that's winning baseball, basically. A different guy can step up every game. It's not just the ones you've been counting on throughout the season. I mentioned about the pitching staff. One of the things I find very interesting now, I'm kind of an old school guy, is the pitch counts. and how closely you guys have to monitor the pitch counts. How is that? Is that difficult to navigate? Is it tough? I'm sure it's tough for the pitchers themselves to say, hey, you're at 99. I'm sorry. I know you're pitching a 2-hitter, but you got to go. What do you think of that rule, and how hard is it to kind of navigate it?
Well, it certainly complicates things, and the instances you bring up where somebody's having a really good game, and then just because of an arbitrary number that they picked out of a hat, you have to change it. But we sort of work on that in the off season as well. That was one of the big things that we focused on once that pitch count rule started coming into effect, and we wanted to increase our amount of pitches that we throw in the strike zone. And by doing that, that's kind of you get the most bang for your buck, I guess, with your pitches. So that's what we focused on, is we wanted to make not just, we weren't going to waste pitches that were bouncing 57 feet instead of going 65 or 60 feet. And so that, I think, came into play, and we had a pretty successful year with throwing strikes and a good strike percentage.
Are you available to work with the Pirates bullpen?
I have belief in Ray Searage to some extent that he can correct that.
Well, so you guys, pretty good regular season. You go into the playoffs. Were there some jitters? Did you sense any jitters from the team, in districts and then going on to the stage? That's a really big stage for these guys where, like you said, they've been playing together, a lot of them for 10 years now. Was it kind of like ho-hum, just another game?
Yeah, I think there was probably more pressure initially, I think probably pressure on themselves, because that first game, we felt like because of some different scenarios and rainouts, and we couldn't finish our regular season schedule, and we ended up as a 3 seed going in, that, I know they were excited to play Warren because Warren had knocked us out, and you're hoping in that game they're not too overly excited because they want to, be able to get back for losing that game last year,
right.
And beat Warren and move on. So I think, to me, there was probably more pressure in that game, only because I was afraid they'd be overly hyped up to want to beat them, and then a lot of times stuff goes wrong. But they settled in nice the whole entire time. Obviously the Hickory game we jumped out early and then kind of slid back. Grove City, we left 12 guys on base, but I thought they were more relaxed in the South Fayette game than they were in any of the District 10 games when we played. And I think they just believe in each other, and at that point, we were, nobody was picking us. I think everybody had been kind of disrespecting us all year, and I think they were ready to get after it.
Yeah, coming out of District 10, that's not an easy thing. You see all the Twitter, and I saw on the Erie News a couple times, how District 10 just doesn't really seem to get over that hump. Even getting to the Final Four, like you guys did, it doesn't happen much. How proud does that make you that you were able to do that with this group? Even though, you came up short of the ultimate goal, but you got that far. Clearly, not only one of the best teams in Meadville history, but probably in Crawford County and the region's history.
Yeah, extremely proud of them and the work they put in, and knowing we made it that far. And that's what I tried to convey after that Ringgold game was over, that, you guys have an extreme amount, of pride to carry with you for, a lifetime, because there's hundreds of other teams, that are at home that would like to be where you guys are at right now. And I know it doesn't make them feel any better at that moment in time, but I'm just extremely proud. I think, these guys, so with all the hard work they put in and the stuff that went against us, whether it was weather or reschedules or, just anything, it seemed like this year anything could go against us. It was trying, and these guys just continued to battle through, and just, like I said, can't say enough about them.
And, talking about that pride factor in the area, very successful run for Meadville Athletics the last couple of years, and also for the district. Talking about the Warrens and the Hickories, I think it proved that there's some really good baseball in this area as well. It's not just, the eastern side of the state or southwestern PA. To be able to get through those teams and make it this far, do you think that kind of legitimizes this region and this district?
I think so. We've had good baseball up here, for years, and I think sometimes we do get a lot overlooked, and you get, some regions make a run, and, everybody always hears about the WPIAA, and they're getting, 3 teams in, and sometimes, depending on how many we have, they get 1 or maybe 2, but it seems like we don't get a lot of respect up here, and I don't know whether it's because hey, those guys play in the snow for the first 2 months, and by the time they get going, the season's over, so they don't really worry too much about it. But I think we've had good baseball always. As far as I can remember, we've always had good baseball here. We've had good teams, good players. I don't know why. Maybe we haven't had the success, as a region, as like a district, heading into the state playoffs. But, sometimes it's, you just got to make little plays here and there. And I think these guys always believe they're as good as anybody else in the state, and I think that's what really helped us, going forward.
Talking about some of those Southwestern PA teams, you mentioned the South Fayette game. Again, that was one. I think they pretty much handily won the Whitfield title, and then you guys go in there and knock them off. How validating was that, especially down there in their backyard? I'm sure that was the one game that really started turning people's heads.
Yeah, well, I thought it was really big for us, but again, that was one of those, when the schedule came out, we were hoping obviously it was going to be, more of a Neshannock, like
right.
where we played,
yeah,
or Slippery Rock.
Site by any means.
No, and then for them to only have a 20-minute drive, it was more of a slap in the face, I thought, to us, and I told these guys that, as if I were you, I'd be upset, that they have to go 20 minutes and we have to drive 2 hours, and I think they kind of took that to heart, and I think they always believed they could play with them, and I think and I know everybody's obviously you're playing with your pitching, because if your guy goes over 75 pitches, there's not enough time in between to get your ace back for that second game in all these weeks, and I think they gambled a little bit and didn't start their ace, which their 2 guy wasn't bad by any stretch the imagination, but I think they were saving their ace, and I think at the end it ended up coming back to bite them, but sometimes that's what happens. You gamble a little bit and it doesn't pay off, but these guys were from the first pitch to the last pitch, they were engaged in the game, just did a fantastic job.
Yeah, it seems like a very, very tight-knit team that you guys have, just off the screen or off the air. They were joking around and everything. How cool is it to see this group, and how much did it help them, I guess, the fact that you said they've played together since first grade, second grade, this core, and they've really seen it pay off this year? Did you notice that? A lot of team camaraderie, even during their high school years, the last 3 or 4 years? Yeah,
I think this group's always been pretty tight, and I think all those games do help. I know there's a lot of people that aren't big fans of travel baseball, and I think travel ball is necessary. Maybe it's not run the best of ways sometimes, but I think for these kids to play and play together, all those tournaments, all those games, those wins that start to compile, all that builds into, your high school program. And the fact that they were, able to succeed, whether it be winning a travel tournament or the times they went to states back to back, I think all that, plays into how your program's going to be. And you could see it, these guys always never like they get sick of each other. They're always, goofing around, and I think it's it's just a fantastic group of kids.
And that really helps when you make a run like this, the camaraderie, because you said everyone's counting us out, or the 2.5-hour bus rides, et cetera, to have that team unity. And I know the other thing that was said earlier too, it seems like a different player can step up every game. That's another thing I think that can come from that team camaraderie. Every guy trusts one another. It seems like it could be 6-0. You guys don't count yourselves out.
Yeah, especially they're all year long. They just no matter whether it was close or we got down early. We had a couple games this year. We got down early. Warren at home, we were down 4-0. And they bounced right back, ended up winning 10-4. There's a lot of games like that all year long you could point to where, maybe in the past we wouldn't have been able to overcome stuff like that. But this group, they said they never feel like they're out of anything. They know, we're only one pitch away from getting it rolling. And, our pitchers, as Justin mentioned, were outstanding all year. Even though we were winning a lot of one-run games, I think in all our losses now, when it ended up to be, I guess it wouldn't have been any more, we'd only lost by like a total of 8 runs,
Yeah.
So, we were in all our games. There were never any blowouts, and I think those guys, they know that, we were always in it. And I think it does help that you trust the guy next to you, or that guy gets out in front of you and that next guy behind him picks him up. And but they also, like I said, they worked hard. We try to do all the little things, whether it's bunting, moving guys over, squeezing, whatever it is. But they do a fantastic job of getting that down. I know they don't like doing that on Saturday mornings for 45 minutes or whatever, and bunting all winter long. But I think it's when the situation calls for it, they were able to produce.
Justin, you mentioned about working with the efficiency of your pitchers. Talking about that bad weather early on, how tough was it to see your pitchers get in shape? Were you able to work with them a little bit over the winter, or was it just kind of like, hey, we're going to have to throw inside again today? I don't know what to tell you. How'd the off-season pitching program go?
Yeah, well, we started I think late November, so because you really don't want to throw people these extended outings where you're getting up into the 70s and 80s of pitches without building their arms at
Right.
first. I think evidence has proven that that's a good way to get injured arms. So we started small, short distances. I used a lot of weighted balls. We always do a lot of band work. And yeah, the difficulty with getting outside is you don't get a chance to get your long toss in and really build up the arm strength in that regard. But we have 2 inside mounds, and so we worked on first squaring away everybody's mechanics. And once that was done, because that'll make it easier for you to throw strikes, it'll make it easier for you to repeat your delivery. And so that's basically where we started, and we built up in there were days where it wasn't real warm outside, but we still tried to get out and throw long toss and get everybody's arms in shape. And I think the number of pitchers we had that had success this year really illustrates that kind of a program was advantageous to us, and because everybody who threw well, and so that really worked to our advantage, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of high school you'll see, a good high school team may have one really good pitcher, a second decent pitcher, and then hope no one else. But it seems like, as you said, it was a real combined team effort for you this year. How important was that when the schedule backed up and you had to play like 3 games in 5 days and it rained, and even in the playoff run? Was that a big factor, having such a deep pitching staff? Did it kind of validate you? How proud were you of that?
Oh, I was proud for the guys because they put in a lot of work. And that, and the other thing is, like you mentioned, a lot of times if you just have 2 or 3 games a week, you can bring back your ace or your number 1 guy later in the week. And we didn't have that option because of the games being compressed, but we also didn't need that option, which was, for me, was awesome.
Yeah.
To see the guys who put in the time, developed, and then you could, we got to the point where you had so many games in a row, it was whose arm's available. And the guys who were available, we weren't picking off the scrap heap. We had guys who were ready to go and performed, exceptionally in those situations.
Again, I think the Pirates could use something like that. I'm just saying. I guess before we take it to Mike and the players, I'll ask each coach, or Coach Stewart, I know we just wrapped up this year. Goals for next year?
To continue to build off what we did this year. Obviously we're going to be missing 9 seniors, and they're going to be almost impossible to replace. We got some good younger kids coming. The big change next year will be we get bumped up to 5A, so it's just us and prep next year. So we're going to have to probably make some changes there and figure out how that's going to work out. But but just to continue to build and continue to try to build a program and move forward. So.
All right, Mike, I think it's your turn now to talk with the Meadville Bulldog players.
All right, this is the fun part. And before I leave Coach Stewart,
Coach Stewart was fun.
No, I know.
It was a very fun conversation we had.
I want 2 things, Coach. Number 1, looking down there and look at what's on your press box, you probably want to say things about your boosters, how important they are to you.
They were fantastic this year. Heather Young, Larry Wilson, Lisa Beck, and Shelby Ferry did a fantastic job. Of everything, taking care of the boys, whether it be, snacks on trips or, fundraising or the uniforms that they were able to provide for us this year. Everything from top to bottom, the banquet, the senior night, everything they did was fantastic and top notch this year, and we couldn't have done it without them.
It's just the young guy said it's always the moms, so I guess the dads might come up empty on Father's Day. Number 2, though, Coach, I think you need to get some signage on your press box down the road, like 2018 Final Four appearance,
I think so.
And so forth, to let people know that this program's on the way up.
That's right.
Let me get to the young guys, because this is what it's all about. And I'll tell you what, guys, what a great season. And you guys have been winners since you've been little kids playing up at the fairgrounds in your all-star teams, and you went far and far and far. Some kids might have dropped off as you got older, but you guys kept it together. And this community was awesome behind you. They were excited about this baseball team. And you guys provide a lot of excitement. I know the last game you guys left a bitter taste in your mouth because you were so close going to states. But in my opinion, you guys lost to the state champion. That's pretty cool in a way. I'm glad they won instead of lost, because you can say, we lost to the state champs, and that's an honor. But you went further than any Meadville team. So when you're 30, 40, 50 years old, you can tell your kids, your grandkids, hey, I was on the team that went further than any team ever in the history of Meadville. And what's great about that, there's been a lot of great athletes that played on this field, and also when they used to play near the high school. A lot of great athletes came out of Meadville baseball. They never went as far as you, not even your dad. So, so it's a tribute to you guys. 2 captains here, Capolino and Mook. What was it like being a captain of this bunch?
They always kept us on our toes. I mean, the inside jokes and everything go on and on forever. But yeah, we always have fun together, and it's really special because, like we've been talking about, we go way back.
It was definitely an honor to lead these guys, even though they made it quite challenging at times to keep it together and not lose it. But it was definitely fun being with all these guys all the time.
You know, we talked there earlier on in March, if you remember, when we did a show, and we said if you guys have a great season, we'll be back, which we are today. But you guys commented about how you guys can bring messages to the coaches, and you can bring the coaches' message to the players. How'd that work out?
Yeah, well, that just comes with having 9 seniors on the team, and there's a lot of leadership just from the roster itself, and we work real close with the coaches and make sure that the right decisions get made on a regular basis.
Yeah, just a lot of communication, pretty openly with each other, having such a mature team. It was definitely nice to be able to communicate with everybody pretty freely.
Okay, let me work my way, excuse me, camera. I'll get to the other side after these 2 fine young men. Introduce yourselves first.
Chad Neugebauer.
Trevor Holila.
Okay, tell me, guys, what was it like to be part of this team this year?
It was awesome. Like, we've been playing with these guys for a while. It's just having fun while we're playing baseball, so.
Trevor?
Yeah, I loved every second of it. Like, these are my brothers. I mean, we've been through everything together. We've worked hard together, so it was nice for it to pay off.
Like a band of brothers, you know, and people that never play sports or never been part of a team don't understand that, but that is so true. When you get a tight-knit group like you guys are, it's tough to beat a tight-knit group. I don't care if they're sitting 5 hours away from Meadville. It is tough to beat a tight-knit group, and you guys were there all the time this year. What do you like about the 2 captains this year? Got any stories about these 2 guys?
I mean, yeah, I have some stories, but I probably shouldn't say. But yeah, they're good leaders. You know, they speak up. They know how to work a team, and it's just fun. Because I mean, it's not like we hate them. Like, they're not trying to like step over us or anything. You know, they work with us too, and it just works out great.
Yeah, kind of going off what Chad said, we have a lot of trust in our captains. They know what they're talking about, so we just listen to them and do the best we can for them.
Awesome. Let me talk to these 2 gentlemen back here, right here. Names?
Drew Stewart.
David Shovelman.
Okay, Drew, let's start with you. Your favorite moment on this year's team?
Probably like making it out of districts. I mean, it doesn't really happen often for Meadville, obviously, so being able to leave districts and go in and play states was a great opportunity for us.
Was there any like little smile? I'm going to ask you this question. When Grove City won the districts, you guys came in second, but you went out and you got further than them. Did you kind of like smile when you sort of scored it? They were out and you guys were still in.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting to get the distance that we did and like upset like everyone. So it's pretty great.
What was it like going to school? Did the faculty get behind you guys?
Yeah, some of the teachers talked to us. Like my French teacher, Miss Stearns, always like chimed in and like talked to us about baseball, but they were behind us all the way pretty much.
What about the student body?
They were with us in the end, so.
and that's true of a spring sport. You know, you don't have the big pepper rallies for baseball and so forth, and football and basketball usually get the big crowds and a couple of kids here and there. But I think at the end, going to that last game against Ringgold, there was half of Meadville was there.
Yeah, I guess we just had to start winning and keep winning for them to notice us.
Sending a message. I like that. Sending a message. All right, let me get to the other side real quick. All right. Names?
Landon Beck. Wyatt Smith.
Landon, what do you like about playing baseball? What's your favorite thing about baseball besides running? Because we know you can run real fast.
Just the excitement that comes with it all. Playing with these guys and how far we went this year was really exciting.
What was your most exciting thing about this year's season?
Probably beating Bellefonte. I mean, they were a really good team. They even showed us and warned us how good they were, and we went on and beat them.
Yeah, Bellefonte was a very good team. And again, like Mr. Berger pointed out with your coaching staff, not many people thought, even so you got out of districts, you were going to go as far as you did. What did that mean to you getting as far as you guys did this year?
I mean, I kind of expected we'd go pretty far, but just meant a lot that we could do it. This is a lot of our final years, so it's just cool that we could go that far.
Why did you think this team would go far?
Just because we've been to
states for senior league and junior league 3 times, so I just kind of assumed.
And you're a senior. What are you doing next year?
Going to IUP.
Gonna play baseball?
Gonna try.
Okay. Mr. Mook, I forgot to ask you, what are you doing next year?
I'll be at Mount Union next year playing baseball.
Scapolino?
I'm going to Penn State University, State College.
Okay. You try to play baseball for Penn State?
I don't know about that. Maybe I'll try to walk on, but maybe club.
Okay. What about you guys?
I'm going to Slippery Rock to play baseball.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to IUP as well with Wyatt.
Play baseball down there?
I might play club.
You know, the PSAC is the biggest D2 conference in the country, and it's one of the best in all sports. It's very well recognized. All right, let me talk to these 3 guys, the 3 amigos in the back here. All right, let's have your names.
Zach Wilson.
Cole Patassi.
Nick France.
Yeah, let's start with Cole. Cole, your most exciting moment playing for the Dogs this year?
Honestly, probably beating Slippery Rock twice, and the last one was a walk-off by me. So that was exciting. I mean, I don't know.
What's that like to get a walk-off? I mean, the only thing I ever walked off was a golf course after missing a putt. So what's it like to get a walk-off?
Just shock, and I really didn't even know I did it. I just went to first, and that's what happens.
You looked up so your teammates running out?
Yeah, that's basically what happens.
You got hurt in one of those little things when they start beating on you.
What? Say it
You
again?
get hurt when they start beating on you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's a hockey player. He's fine.
Yeah. Favorite moment?
Probably just making it as far as we did with this team, because we've played together since I don't know how long, minor league, little league, and junior league and senior league. We made it far, but I think this is the first we made it so far, so it was pretty cool.
What are you guys doing next year?
I'm playing Division II baseball at Gannon.
Awesome. They have a good program.
I'll be a senior at Meadville High School.
So you playing this summer on the Legion team?
Yeah.
So you got one of the few coming back next year.
Yeah.
Wow, you got a lot of pressure on you next year to try to redo what this team did.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, this guy I know pretty well. Tell us your favorite moment on the field, not off the field.
There's really too many to choose from. Like, the whole season was a blast, like Trev said, we're family, and all the walk-offs we had. I'd say overall probably beating Bellefonte. So.
Yeah, who had the walk-off in your playoff game? You had that walk-off in the playoff game?
Yep.
Yeah. So you'll be back next year too?
Yep.
You might be one of the main arms out there?
We'll see.
Coach, will you be one of the main arms out there?
He will be.
That's what you should have penciled in at this moment. Playing Legion ball?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay. All right. How many people here, and by a show of hands, feel that baseball is their best sport or the sport they love to play the most? Awesome. And a lot of people will say baseball is boring and it's slow. What's your answers to that, guys?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Go ahead.
If you play it, it's not slow at all. I can see if you're watching it like an MLB game or something, because they take their time. There's commercial breaks and stuff. But if you're playing the game and you understand the game, then you'll fall in love with it.
How many of you guys either go to a Pirate or an Indian game, or even a Seawolves game? You watch the game different than the average fan. What are you watching when you go to a game, Mr. Beck?
I definitely watch the pitching. The pitching is definitely outstanding at the upper level, and you can see from what we play and what we face at the upper pro levels, it's a lot different. It's a lot more better experience.
I thought he was going to say he's watching the runners take a lead and learn how to get a jump to steal second there. No. What do you got, Mooker, when you watch a game, what are you looking at?
I just watch how they go out there and be professionals every day, and their different mannerisms and different habits they have that they get into throughout like a 162 game season. Because I have half season tickets, so I go all the time through the year. And
what team's that?
The Pirates. Yeah, and I just make sure I keep track of all the things they do that make them good baseball. The little things that make them good players.
Good seats?
Yeah, they're pretty good seats right by first.
Ever take your buddies there?
No.
Put them on the spot.
They're my dad's. They're my dad's tickets.
Not that close of a team.
Yeah, I think a captain take a couple guys once in a while. All right, guys. Again, outstanding season. This community's proud of you. We're all proud of you guys, and not just because you had a great season, but I know a lot of your teachers, and talking to a lot of your teachers prepping for this show, they have nothing but great things to say about you guys. They have great things to say about you guys as far as being studious in the classroom, well-mannered, and just doing things right. So that's a tribute to you guys also. And again, you brought back Meadville baseball, Coach. You know, I'd been dormant for a while, and a lot of things, unfortunately, were said about Meadville baseball, but you put it back on the map. And now you got to keep it there, which is your job. Your pressure, not mine. But
right.
you know, and you guys coming back, I got to work hard again too. But you seniors, probably when you got on the bus, you were dejected. You sat down, you were disappointed. Hopefully, when you got back to Meadville, you had a chance to think about what you accomplished. And again, furthest team ever in the history of Meadville baseball. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, for Jim Berger, this is Mike Fiorillo saying you've been watching Sports Close-Up on Armstrong.
Get him out of the game! He keeps popping off! How far are you gonna let him go? How you let him go? How far are you gonna let him go, bro? Well, we're fine! Yeah! Keep it going, keep it going. Let's go. Keep it going. Okay, we got 2-7. That's the ball. What? How was it a ball? How was that a ball? Go 1-2. Can't play the pitcher. He's doing his job. Do it in balls and 4 in strikes. That's a drop. Come on, Nick. Come on. There you go. Whatever you want. Are you good? Come on, Nick. Hey, let's go. Nobody. There we go. Let's go, France. 20 seconds.
Congratulations to the Rams and the Bulldogs on a fantastic season.